absolutely my gift for you. I think there's a huge block. I know that there's a huge block in society right now, and we need to bust that block open. I'm going to tackle these things here. I'm going to tell you more about what this training is specifically about. And it's really about transforming your own life and transmuting old stuck energies into energy that works for you and works with you. And it's also going to be absolutely about coaching and therapy and why we're being called to a different level, why sometimes therapy doesn't work, why coaching does work, and why coaches stuck in one niche aren't really as effective as they could be. And yeah, I'm saying that boldly because I have been in the situation where I structured myself to one niche and I couldn't get the results with my clients that I do consistently when we're working in a holistic fashion. So we're going to talk about all of that over the next 7 videos. Let's talk about what a transmuter is first. And in doing so, if you haven't met me yet, because I know I am doing this on Zoom, I'm doing this on a lot of groups, then I will introduce myself to you. So my name is Lisha, and I actually have a funny name story, which I'll tell in this series too, because it's really about owning yourself. But my name is Lisha, and in 2011, I was beautifully deemed a trauma transformer. And specifically because I was working with people that were coming from either abusive relationships or abusive childhoods, and we were transmuting those old patterns so they could live into new patterns in their life. And I did that through a series that I now coach and teach people, a methodology that I now coach and teach people how to do. And it's really friggin' effective. But there's some stopping points. So I was deemed the trauma transformer, and why I was deemed the trauma transformer is because I have an innate ability to see through old patterns and not just like move it in your head and belief systems and everything, which we'll get into, but also really shift the pattern within the person, the vibration within the person that's going through it. So they come out of it not even really knowing that they went through a big shift. It's so effortless and not painful, but all of a sudden their life changes. Sometimes even they get really distant and like weird with me because because they don't realize like why everything just shifted, why they have so much more clarity in their life. And so I believe that there are many, many transformers in the world right now. And we have this ability and this responsibility in our lives to step forward and change old patterns. So you might have experienced stuff in your childhood, and I'll tell some stories about some transformers that have gone through our coaching curriculum and are literally shifting dynamics in their whole families. Also people that are here to shift genetic dynamics in your families. You might have just watched if you're on my page, you might have watched me do a DNA test, and I'm doing that because I really want to know from point A to maybe a year or two from now, if I can shift my DNA on a scientific, like ground level way of doing it as a transformer. So I don't want to get too off topic here because I totally can. This is a huge topic, which is why we're doing 7 events around it. When you look at how you can truly manifest from a place in your life where you have a balance between the past and the future, where you can stay in the present moment to the best of your ability, while not ignoring what was and not disassociating from what you want to create in your life, but really utilizing that power to step into your highest purpose. And this is what I call a transformer. So I'm going to explain to you this call to action because I do want to really talk to everybody that is here on the planet, on earth, born, incarnate, whatever you want to call it, to change the paradigm, to change the game, to change the show, to change your families, to make people's lives a better place, to stand more in your authority, to absolutely up level. You know, you might call yourself a light worker. You might call yourself a healer. You might call yourself an old soul. You might call yourself just the black sheep of the family, right? And you are who I'm talking to. You are who I'm talking to. So I'm going to explain what a transformer is, and I'm going to explain the special power that we have. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about this amazing career that has been launched just for us in the world, and how you can step into it in a way that's really powerful. This training, I'm just really gifting you this training. And so what I ask for you in exchange for my expertise and my time and my gift in this training is two things. One, I would love for you to tell me your name and where you're from in the comments, because when you interact with me, when you comment with me, when you are here live, and it feeds my soul. It also helps me to know what you want to know more about, because there's a lot of misunderstanding around what makes somebody who has overcome so much and feels the way that a transformer feels, what makes you you, and how to tap into that specialness, because I'm going to talk about today some ways that transformers and transmuters feel that makes us feel off, makes us feel like the world's out to get us, makes us feel disempowered. And we feel that disempowered at certain points of our life so we can step into our power. And so I'm going to talk about that paradigm today, and specifically how you can take your power back right now listening to this audio. So if you hear this and you're listening and you're like, oh, I know somebody like that, please, please, please just go ahead and share this. So you are welcome to share this training and all the free trainings everywhere. Okay, you can have a watch party, you can share it to your page, you can tag people in it, because I want this to be a gift to the world. This is how I can give to the world. You don't have to sign up for it. You don't have to do anything for it. All I ask is that you put your name and where you're from and that you're listening. And if you feel moved, that you share it and you pass on this wisdom, this awareness to people around you. I'm going to try to keep it short, like I want to say 30 minutes, but I'm going to say like 30 minutes of content rich teaching here for you. And then if you want to move deeper into this, if you feel called to step into your full power, if you feel called to help transform the world with me and with a bunch of other transformers, then please, that link above links you to a place where I'm going to send you an ebook for free about building your empire online, about coaching, more about your own university and our coaching program, and what it means to step into this role as a transformer and how it's different from other programs and other things that you've watched. So does that make sense? Because my time is really precious, as is yours, and I want to give fully, but I also am going to ask for that big ask and receive back from you. So I'm going to take a deep breath here, just for a minute, root and ground, before we get into the content of the question of, do you want to transform the world, right? And what does that mean? So before I get really off into this, like I'm starting to tear up because this is so precious to me. I've been on this road for a really, really long time. I believe I was born into this role as a transmuter, a transformer. If you haven't looked at the 12 tribes of light workers. It's a great thing to Google. But really there's different gifts, there's different talents that people that were born today, humans alive right now, we all have, I believe that we all have gifts. There's a big movement of light workers, of people that are here to truly, truly shift the dynamics of our entire world, to up level, to raise the vibration, to show the way, to be the way, to host in the event is the big name for what's happening as we transition as a planet. And it is a huge undertaking that all of us who have hearts that are connected to knowing yourself, to understanding who you are, to stepping into your calling, to be so bold, to truly follow your heart, to truly follow your inspirations, to truly follow your divine gifts, right? To follow your gifts. So if you're joining, all I ask for this, for you to do here is please tell me where you're from and your name in the comments. This is going to, one, build a relationship, because I want to have a relationship with you. Two, invite you into this coaching and into this training, because I'm going to do, this is one of 7 big classes that I really feel called to do. That I was going to do in like this private, safe area, but I can't. I'm not allowed to, by my heart, my soul, my spirit, and by God, I'm supposed to really share this content with you and trust that it's going to get to the right ears, and trust that this content you're going to take and use for the highest good and for your highest good, and really transform and transmute into your highest purpose. So all I would ask is that if this moves you, that you share it, and please say hello. I see people popping on. So please say hello and tell me your name and where you're from, and comment, because that feeds my soul. And I can see you're on here. Okay. So that all being, I'm wondering like which page you guys are going on. I hope I can see the comments too. I believe I can. Okay, so so transformer, so you can recognize yourself. There's been a lot of movement. I was talking about light workers, right? And a lot of light workers are called to open up businesses of certain sorts, are called to, they have higher ideas. We are creating a new earth. We are creating a new paradigm. We're creating the next evolution of humanity by connecting deeper into how do we maximize the use of our physical bodies? How do we maximize the use of our mental bodies? How do we maximize the use of our vibrational bodies, our emotion, our vibe? How do we maximize our gifts and our natural giftings? And I'm talking about like biblical giftings, like dreams and seers, and all the clairs, the clairvoyance and clairsentience and clairaudience, and the empathic skills, and the healers, and the miracle workers, and the manifestations, and how to co-create effectively on this planet. And this is a new era for humanity. So if you've been listening to me for a while and you're like, whoa, she's lost it, she's like off her rocker, I am not lost it. And if you've been in my programs, you know I'm like, this is me. But I've been incognito. And why I've been incognito about all of my knowledge and my wisdom here is because it wasn't my time. I got the call this last week that it's my time to step forward, to truly, everything that I prepared over the last 20 years, the coaching curriculums, the courses, the working with people, my books, everything that I've done, it's now time to really allow for the teaching to come forth. And then I was going to like do this whole thing. And anyway, it turned into this free event that we're doing. and specifically talking to people that are transformers and transmuters. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about the tribes. I wish I had it pulled up on my screen. Let me actually do this. I just found this the other day with one of my teachers. She's like, I don't know about the 12 tribes. I'm like, how do you not know? Oh. So anyway, I found it. A nice little thing that they had here online. If I can find it again, I will share my screen and share it with you, because I think I can do that because I'm on Zoom. Because you might be you might have other giftings. You might fall into another tribe. I think that if you're listening to me, it's not by accident. If you're listening to me, you are definitely awakened. You're definitely being called to a higher purpose. You're definitely being called to, I wonder if it's just in my pictures. You're definitely being called to step into this new manifestation of the new world. And that's truly, truly important to do. Yes, here we go. 12 types of light workers. Okay, so let me share my screen. Let me know if this works on Facebook. I hope it can work. Hopefully you can all see this. There's so many things up right now. Okay, hopefully you can see this. I'm gonna look on my phone here. I think we're lagging in time. Yes. Okay, perfect. We're good. Okay, so feel into this with me. I want to invite you to just take a breath and feel into it. So I have wonderful friends. So I'm just going to share a bit of my heart because I'm just going to flow with this live here. I have wonderful friends that have been grid workers and light keepers the last couple of years. Since 2012, it was huge that we've been really, they've been going from place to place, and I've gotten to do a little bit of this work, but going from place to place and just really reprogramming the land, like really preparing Gaia, preparing the earth for the consciousness of humanity to up level. They are amazing people. They can make it rain. It's incredible, the miracles that they can work, and it comes very naturally to them. Travel is very natural for them. They are grid workers. So grid workers are one of the light working tribes. That is so beautiful here. Another one is light keepers, and light keepers tend to literally just hold space and hold light for people to step into their own power. They kind of show the way. They also open up gates. Another one, this is called, is like gatekeeper or light keeper. Then there's the transmuters. The transmuters and transformers, that's who I am. This is my natural gifting. And what we do is we literally can like shift energy and work with energy within people and within ourselves and with our families. We are usually people that have had a childhood that called us to a higher standard to shift and to speak out. We might have manifested different diseases in order to heal and completely heal. We can look at situations and see through them in order to coach and shift things into a higher dimension, into a higher truth, into a higher conversation. Oftentimes, transmuters have been either led to or given a phrase that allows them to work with this energy. So it's like, for me, I don't know, 2007, 2008, I was laying in my yoga studio after having a huge release and up level in my own energetic scale and shifting the paradigm of my genetic code from a trauma that I had when I was 11. And all this shifting happened, and through me came a phrase: dissolve, resolve, transform, transmute, and transcend back to dirt, right? And it's infused with sound. And then people see me from like the book of Malachi. There's a phrase that you like have a fireball and you like throw the fireball. And I worked for many years just throwing fireballs at people's stuff, dissolving, resolving, transforming, transmuting, and transcending on each of the levels that we're going to be talking about the next in the series, to really shift their paradigm. So you might have these giftings, these callings. You're like, why can that happen? And you might have been deemed a healer. You might have been deemed a messenger. And you definitely probably have been deemed a guide or a teacher of some sort. These are all really natural for transmuters. Transmuters have two gifts. So this is really what I'm talking about in this lesson. Transmuters have two gifts, and they're easily a light keeper or a gatekeeper. So you can open up vortexes. You can feel vortexes. You can feel that awareness in the world. And you're also a blueprint holder, meaning you might be drawn to Akashic records. You can shift family dynamics. You're here to shift old paradigms, past paradigms, history, and to also create, like a manifester, creating the other side of what is going to come, what can come, right along the rest of the workers here. So a blueprint holder, just to go through them all really fast. A blueprint holder is somebody, Akashic records are really big for you. You might help people in business. Coaching is really good for you. You can see kind of the blueprint in people, and you can work with that with them. A seer is somebody who might really have psychic skills, clairvoyant, clairsentient, clairaudient. You might see past the veil and through other dimensions and other times. You might see angels. Beautiful, beautiful prayer warriors are seers usually. The dreamer is somebody who can dream. Often they're very versed in working and shifting and healing in their dream state. So having those deep dreams of awareness and then being able to work and shift things within the dream state is really, really big. It's like they're awake when they're dreaming. And we've all probably, as humans in this time and age, we've all kind of played with these, all of them, right? We're all one, and it's all connected just like anything else. It's all holistic, but this is like working their way. The messenger is somebody literally who has a story to tell, who has something to tell. And for a long time, I was like, I'm a messenger. And it's very, very important, the messengers, to speak your truth, to share what you have to share. You're often deemed as teachers. You often are authors. It's a beautiful, beautiful, but a messenger is just one that really stands in that power of having that message. Manifestors literally have like the superpower for manifesting, meaning that they manifest like that. Usually they're teaching manifesting. Usually you're drawn to that. I love teaching about manifesting because it is about transmuting and transcending old paradigms and old things. And it's also about transmuting, transcending, and really working with the energy of the future. So I love manifesting. But the manifestor person of the tribe is really going to be teaching about this paradigm. An ascension guide is somebody who is literally helping with the ascension. They are talking about the ascension, the symptoms of the ascension, right? So there's the headaches that happen. There's the I feel like I'm fucking crazy that happens. There's the I have all this power in the world and everything is manifesting, and then all of a sudden, like, boom, I'm crashing down, and I feel like you feel like you're stage one again, right? And you're like, oh my gosh, like I was so working the energy, and then it was so like, boom, nothing. So this is huge, huge, huge. An ascension guide is beautiful. My teacher, Kimberly, is an ascension guide. and or a way shower, one or the other. So the next paradigm is, let's see, is anybody commenting here? A little bit. The next paradigm here is that the way shower. So the way shower is less of a teacher than the ascension guide, but they really embody what we're doing. So they have all the gifts of the fifth dimension. They have the opening and understanding of the energy and the unseen reality that we live in the midst of in the fourth dimension. And yet they totally understand this physical, paradigmical dimension of the third dimension, the chemical and the hormonal and all of that of the second dimension, and the dimension of word and light and beginning, that the genetic code of reality of the first dimension. So they understand all this and they embody it all, and they're just showing the way. It's very effortless for them. They don't really teach anything. They kind of, I know that they're going to have their time, but they just do it all, and it's really, really beautiful. The unifier is one that's really standing in the unity of all. So maybe you've met people that are like, we are all one. We are all one. It's just all one. There's no good. There's no bad. We're all one, blah, blah, blah. And they stand in this beautiful truth. And you're like, but there's friggin' war going on over there, and this shit sucks, and so forth and so on, right? So, but they have a job, and their energy, their soul structure energy in this time and age is that of the unifier. And so they bring people together. They're great networkers. They collect that information, and that's just a beautiful thing. And the next is the healer. And the healer is somebody that can truly, truly heal people. There's many different forms of healers. There's doctors, there's psychiatrists, there's energy healers, there's surgeons, there's talk therapists, there's like hypnotherapists. There's so many different places and ways to be healers. And all of us, like I said, embody all of this. So I'm going to stop my screen share here and come back to just talk to you. So these are the 12 tribes. And so you might feel this are 12 ways or 12 giftings, 12 soul callings of what's happening today, right now. It's been happening. It's been happening really since, I believe, like 1818. I'm just like, be honest. When 2018 happened, there was a huge shift last year, and a lot of the grid lines were laid and completed last year. And it gives us a really solid foundation to now transmute and transform the energies and patterns of humanity above those grid lines. And it's happening in the government right now. There's transforming and transmuting happening everywhere. And so it's pretty amazing when you open up your eyes to what's happening. You could see like the grid working come together, where the unifiers and the grid workers were bringing the earth together, the awareness. It's been happening even through the internet. Just think about how much the internet has grown in the last 10, 15 years, how we're all interconnected, right? And then on a spiritual level, there's literally grid lines that have been laid protecting Mother Earth. And it's like cells working together. And there's people showing us the way. So now is a time, though, that we're really going to be transforming and transmuting the old paradigm, the old energies, the old beliefs of humanity, and moving it into something great. And it happens on different levels. So there'll be transformers and transmuters that work on a complete holistic level. I just have to take a deep breath here for a second and root and ground myself, because I just had a fleeting thought of, holy crap, I cannot believe I'm really giving this webinar right now. Because it's like, oh my gosh. Just to talk about this is a really big deal to me. It's so precious to my heart and so very real. And I've had the opportunity to watch so many people be touched by this work and have their souls embedded in their bodies, and watch them go out and transform and transmute their own paradigms and their own stuff. To share it like on this platform live, where anybody can see it, takes a lot of courage from me. A lot of courage. And I like have to say that for myself right now and take a breath into that. This is a really high conversation that I'm trusting that this community, my community, is ready for. And I've been watching other conversations for years, and maybe I met you in one of these groups where I didn't stand up and I didn't talk because I wasn't led to yet. I was doing behind the scenes work. And so this is a really big deal for me. I just want to say that. So if you are listening, please tell me that you're listening, even if it's like listening to it and saying replay. Thank you, Virya. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for commenting. I saw other people on here who didn't say anything. I really do see that. I see you guys, and I acknowledge you. Even if you didn't say anything, I acknowledge you. And I ask that we do have this energy exchange, because I am really teaching from the heart. You're going to have, you're going to leave. If you join me for these lives, turn on notifications here and join me for these lives. If you want to make sure you don't miss them or you get the replays, go ahead and sign up to that thing above. And that's where you're at. So let me go into kind of back to where I was, and let me go into what a transmuter is. Because like I said, there's been this period of time since 1818 where we were really shifting. So about that time, what started happening historically is people began to consciously get out of we're physical beings and it's all about the physicality, and we started pushing the paradigm that we're not our skin color, we're not our even our occupation, we're not our masculine, we're not our feminine, we're not if we're a boy or if we're a girl. We started pushing that paradigm about that time. And then we went into all these wars all over the world, and everywhere around the world we're at different levels of this, depending on the level of conversation in the country, really. So it's still in this shift, and we're still all coming together. But what happened, and what's happening now at an accelerated rate, is these grid lines have been laid. And what happens is we feel this shift, this dynamic in the world. We have this foundation now since last year, that 100 year or 200 year actually, paradigm, because it's 2018. So not 1918. So 1918, never mind. I'll tell you that story. Maybe inside the coaching training, I'll tell you that story. What happened in 1918. Oh gosh. But so 1818, we started having this conversation. By the early 1900s, we had great teachers. We still study their work of, I'm like spacing out right now, which is totally funny, but around mindset, right? Around mindset and how to manifest through our thoughts. And we had great teachers in this lifetime, like Louise Hay. When I was in 6th grade, I did my first book report on Louise Hay, Heal Your Own Body. And I got a letter back from her. It actually helped propel me into this field, understanding that our physicality, our bodies have a reaction to our mindset. And now we know that that's epigenetics. Now we know that with our mind, we can change our genes, we can change our genetics. And so I'm going to get deeper into that in my next segment. But we're going to talk about the grid lines right now and trauma transformers. And I'm trying not to get off off into all the greatness that I'm going to share with you later. But a part of that also, this physicality, is our mentality. So we went from this, we are black, we are white, we are brown, we are boys, we are girls, we are this, to now we're coming into this, you know, kind of hyper-extended other version of it is it's like boys and girls are being like, you can choose your own gender, right? There's like the law of gender is kind of like, let's break the laws, right? Let's do different things. Looking at each other for color, looking at each other for race, looking at each other for those things are being talked about, or being discussed, or being broken up, and are being let go. There's not as many restrictions on that, and as much separation on that. It came together over the last 200 years. And magical, mysterious ways, right? So that unification began to happen. The healing of our worlds began to happen. Now the grid lines are formed, and we have this global communication. So it's not only in like this 5D, 7D, 8D, 12D version of like Mama Earth is going through something that's like, whoa, right? But you literally can go out and like ding grid line things and like find the grid lines. It's wild. And you can see it happening with the internet and our interconnectedness. And you can see it happening in the government and how systems are being broken down. So we have these deeper conversations, right? And we're going to get into that in a second. And like I'm having like, oh, duh, okay, realizations at this moment. Excuse me while I take a sip of my green drink. Okay, so I work and I have been studying the art, the power, the skills that a true transformer needs in order to transmute the energy and utilize all the skills that the people that are here to heal the body and mind. People that are here to way show, people that are here to, all the rest of the light workers are here to work their skills, but we have to transmute and transcend the old paradigms first. And there's been people doing this. We've been working in this field for a long time, but there's a call to action on a bigger level now to step into this power if this is your gifting, if this is your tribe, if you have been led here. So I'm going to tell you one more time. I know I kind of reviewed it in the beginning, but I'm going to tell you one more time about how to recognize if you are a transformer. And you know, you don't have to I was initiated in through the misuse of power and sexual power specifically. And so I learned how to transform and transmute that. And in some ways, I'm still learning. I'm constantly reprogramming and relearning these things, including you know, really being open to understanding more about how to transform trauma, all sorts of trauma, and the trauma being the loss of power, the loss of ability to cope with things, and a loss of like connection with self, that disconnect, how to reunify self and reclaim that. But there's other transmuters and transformers that are here to do other things that don't have anything to do with trauma at all. So, but the common theme with us is we have felt this desire for change, this deep desire for change. Now it can be as global can be. It can be galactic change. It can be global change. It can be an awakening change. It can be an overall change. Or it can be like a change in your family, like absolute truth, a change in your kids' lives being different than your lives, a change in your genetics, like you want to change yourself. And oftentimes, most of the time, transformers get very, very addicted to fixing, self-fixing, and or fixing others. And therefore, if this is you, know that you don't have to fix anymore. I want to gift you that right now. You can place your hands on your heart and say, I'm whole, I'm well, I'm normal. There's nothing to fix. We're good. And you can begin this journey of literally standing in your power to transform and transmute what no longer serves you, what no longer serves your family on a physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, relationship, the interconnectedness of relationship, and your purpose. Any blocks or limitations to your purpose is like, boom, there. You are here to transform and transmute that. So I'll tell you a story, because when we're stepping into the truth of the matter, I talked about this in the last big thing that I have at Your Own University. I did a 30-day challenge of turn your life on, of stepping into your light, stepping into your power. And on the down low, I was talking to the transmuters. On the down low, I was talking to the light workers of the world. But I was still allowed to do it on the down low. And what truly happened is we really blocked into and talked about resistance. And it's one of the first things we talk about. So if you've been trying to step into something and you keep like butting your head against something, jump on over. It's absolutely free. And you'll get so much more from Your Own University, master classes and so forth. But register on our homepage for the for the 30-day challenge and step into this. And you'll learn how to walk through this resistance. But I want to share with you my resistance that I've had to this and how it showed up. So working with people that have gone through childhood abuse and working with trauma got really, really, really heavy, really heavy. And every time that I'd work with somebody, I'd have to revisit my trauma in order to meet them where they were, in order to transform and transmute with them. And eventually I kind of stopped feeding into their story, and I learned a different way to coach, a different way to do it, which has now turned into this methodology. So my coaches that train with me can more effectively not do what I did. But it was like working with people for 10 years, I felt this like kind of re-traumatization. My empathic skills, I would hurt and I'd be in pain. I wouldn't know what it was. And it was my clients. And so I had to learn how to work with the energies in a way that would allow me not to feel everything, not to take everything on, allow me to be able to walk out of the house, right? And not get trapped in the world. And I talk to so many transformers that kind of feel trapped. They feel overwhelmed when they go out. They don't know what to do with the energy. They can't just heal it. It doesn't just run through them. They're not just showing the way, so they don't just unattach from it. We tend to embody it, and we embody it on any level. There's different levels to embody it, and I'll get into that in the coaching curriculum, but there's different ways. It's too much to get into now. I'm really trying to keep this down to, I think I have, how long have I been on here? 48 minutes. I'm going to try to close it in 12. Okay. But we have this embodiment of what's happening, and then it's up to us to learn different tools to transform and transmute those things. So for me, I was attracting people that were transmuting the same thing that I had learned how to transmute in the beginning, which was the misuse of power through sexual abuse. And it was a big deal. And over time, I started attracting clients that were transmuting lighter things and better things. And then I was attracting coaching students and yoga students going through their curriculum and our trainings. And it got lighter and lighter and lighter and fun, right? So it's like, oh, we can do this, right? But there's a big resistance when we're stepping into transmuting, transcending of, I don't want to deal with that shit. I don't want to get in there and like not know what to do. And there's different tools that work with different people, and different tools that work with different energies, and different tools that work with different events. And whether you're working on a global form, like I went to Ireland and I was called to work with the ocean system there. I was called to work with the Druid system there, and really reframe it from a place of memory. And it was incredible to help with that grid work. But I was there as a transformer to work the land. So that's one way that you might show up, is maybe you have a huge heart for environmental stuff and you want things to shift. Maybe you have a huge heart for animals and the misuse of animals, and you want that to shift. Maybe you have a big heart for the ocean and you want that system to transmute, to shift. Maybe it is like myself, and you feel this calling to help humanity end the cycle of abuse, to end slavery to end sex slavery, to end all of this. I mean, all the stuff that's coming out with Hollywood and sex rings and everything is huge right now. These conversations that are being started, right? So this is a global time for us to transmute and transcend all of those major issues I just dealt with and spoke on. Then there is the transmuter that is here to literally shift a dynamic in the family. Because when we shift ourselves and we shift our family, our genes change. So we cure cancer. We can literally no more. Other diseases, no more. We don't need vaccinations to do this. We transcend that energy within ourselves. And it's about knowing how to do this. We have transmuters and transcenders doing light work and energy work as healers across the world. But what they're doing is they're transcending, they're transmuting that energy, and they're shifting the energy. And it's a big, huge conversation that's happening. Now, all of this happens from a residence of understanding. First, understanding yourself as a trauma transformer or a transformer or a transmuter. First, understanding yourself. The other is understanding the energies in which you're working with and being able to hold space and not embody the things that you're being asked to transmute and transcend, but actually rise above them to transmute and transcend them. And this takes some dynamics, it takes some practice, and that's why I'm alive. That's why I've been doing this for 20 years. That's why I was in workshops with Neil Donald Walsh and Carolyn Mace and Louise Hayes and working with channeling and Reiki and body lights therapy and stuff. That's why I have my mother, because at the age of 13, right? That's why I went through my abuse and I changed that dynamic in my family by the age of 13. That's why Jesus appeared to me at the age of 13 and gave me this download that I was supposed to go and learn how to shift things like this. And that's why I've had cancer. That's why I've had adrenal failure. That's why I've had depression. That's why I've been suicidal. That's why I've been bulimic. That's why I've lived through really challenging, horrible relationships. That's why I've had to learn how to communicate. That's why I've had to shift the dynamics of my family and speak out my truth and stand in this while being harassed, by being picketed, by being kicked out of the church. I mean, I could go on with how many things I've had to transcend, how many things that God has placed in front of me, my soul has placed in front of me in order to hone these skills so I can teach them to you, so you don't have to go through those experiences yourself. You can come into this with more ease, more effectiveness, and more joy, and step into this. So there are 6 elements that we are here to transcend. So whether you're a transformer or not, I want to welcome you to take this training. If you're going through any dynamics of this, I want to welcome you to take this training. This is my gift to you for absolute free. All I ask is that you pass on the word, that you share it, that you tell me who you are and where you're from, and we start a relationship, you and me. It's an energetic relationship. That means that you'll actually be able to embody what I offer in some of these programs. So the next one that I'm going to talk to you about, I'm going to wrap this up. I think I gave some great content and education here. Hopefully you can digest it. Hopefully you're thinking about, am I a transmuter? Am I a transformer? Have I shifted those dynamics? Do I feel this call? There's many, many tools, right? So you might see yourself as a healer and be like, well, maybe I'm not a healer. Maybe I do Reiki because I'm a transformer. Maybe I so love kids because I'm a transformer. Maybe I want to get political because I'm a transformer, right? Maybe I have this download and I'm attracted to different healers that do energy work or I mean, work on this paradigm of like instant transformation because I'm a transformer. So I want you to think about this. Oh, my guests are here. Hi, is it open?
Yes, it is.
I'm in the middle of teaching a class, but welcome. Hi, and you can go on straight down the stairs, and I'll be down there to say hi in just a second. Welcome from Denali. All right. So hey, it's live. This is my life, and that's my next Airbnb people. Okay. So I'm happy I'm finishing. So So ask yourself, you know, am I a transformer? Do I know something that's a transformer? Because this training is really holistic. Transformers need many, many, many tools. You're going to be drawn to different things. Like maybe you want to go to many, many trainings to learn how to most effectively transcend things. So some things that are really popular is Reiki is really popular, energy work of all times, understanding physical health. A lot of nurses, a lot of doctors, a lot of psychiatrists and psychologists and therapists, counselors, a lot of people that really you want to know everything about everything. How do you bust through a program? How do you break through something at the fastest, most effective rate that you can bust through it, right? And so it looks a little bit like you're constantly in a course, you just want to learn. And that's why I designed Your Own University for us, where we can learn from different teachers and different people all the time for a low monthly fee, right? And have a beautiful mastermind, which happens in 30 minutes. So I will be there on Manifest Mondays, everybody. That said, the coaching curriculum is going to teach you different skills. So we're going to go into some of the basics of energy work, and we're going to go into how to shift the subconscious, unconscious, and use that focus brain. A little bit of hypnotherapy, EFT, CERT, NLP, and visualization. We're going to go into reseating the soul, and what happens after somebody goes through an experience where they feel disconnected from self. It could be a trauma, it could be just a life experience, and just what that feels like, what that looks like for them. The next piece that we're going to go into next, though, is all about the physical body. Right? So there's 6 powers that we have. There's 6 homes. There's 6 areas of our lives besides the whole self, right? Besides your true power, your gifting, your soul facing forward. And those 6 areas are what we're going to talk about. I'm going to talk about them in relationship to coaching and therapy, and why sometimes just being a coach of one type. So I coach a lot of coaches. And so being a coach of one type, like being a fitness coach, you need to know more than just about the physical body in order to be really effective. So we're going to talk about that in the next segment. And we're going to talk about ways that you can start transforming your body and aligning your physicality so you can transform disease. And when I talk about disease, I'm talking like I had debilitating adrenal failure. I had cancer. I've had cysts. I've had skin issues, all of which I've healed, all of which I manage, and celiac. I've had celiac. So how do you shift all of that? How do you live beyond that? How do you take your power back and really, really love the vessel that you're in, the house that you're in, without being all about your physicality, right? And believe me, I relate from a place of absolute being in physicality. I was totally all about my physical being for a long, long time, and kept getting sick and manifesting, getting sick and getting sick and getting sick, until I realized this beautiful, beautiful gift I have that I call my body, and it grew into an acceptance of it that is like no hold bars now. And I even was tested. That was part of the resistance. I was tested this week. How steady do I hold this bar? How steady do I hold this relationship with myself? And with the transformer, how I was tested, I was going to tell you this, so I'll finish my story there, is I've been wanting to change my personal Facebook page, my business Facebook page for myself, not Your Own University, but for myself, Lisha Antica, from the trauma transformer to something else, and it won't change. And finally, I'm getting all these downloads this week of it's time, like step forward, speak about the transmuters, speak to your tribe, speak to your people, speak to your soul family, Lisha, go for it. Like it is time. And and I'm like, oh, well, that's why I couldn't change my name on there. It's all got to make sense here in a second. So I just want to thank you. If this feels like something that you're drawn to, if you want to say yes to this, then I want to thank you for being you, because it's just no small feat to be any light worker really focused, honing your skills. But the transmuter and transformer has to understand energy, has to understand life patterns, has to understand the dark and the light, the polarity of everything in a way that is unlike any other soul group. So it is my honor, my pleasure to be teaching this, to be sharing this. I hope that you join me for the rest. Follow me if you haven't already. Join the link above just for more content and more free stuff and announcements when I am going to be going live. This is the first of 6 more, 7 total. And we're going to be talking about our physical body and physical health coaches and fitness coaches and what to expect from them, how to hire them, how to be one, what you're missing, the missing link if you are a fitness coach, and what you need to know to take your clients to the next level so they can truly get the results that they want without like killing themselves in the gym or eating nothing or creating this like perpetual cycle of crap, and how you can break through that. I want to tell you that my career as a fitness and health coach teacher began at the age of 18. I'll be 44 in a month. So I've helped many thousands of people reclaim their bodies, love their bodies, get healthy, and overcome disease. So yay for that. Let's get started. All right. Thanks you guys for joining me. I love you much, and I will talk to you next time.